Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. Big news around the SEC Gary Gensler Ripple and XRP. Gary Gensler may have some conflicts of interest. There's some reporting being done by Fox Business that I want to share with you all. Gary Gensler also was interviewed by Jon Stewart. Yes, the Jon Stewart who hosted a cable TV show. And he had some interesting statements. It sounds like he's preempting a loss by the SEC and potentially in the Ripple lawsuit situation because his statements are very telling. I want to play the clip for you. And Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse went on Fox Business and he made some bombshell statements saying that he met with Jay Clayton and the folks at the SEC, and they never once told him XRP is a security. So I want to play some of that clip for you as well. And then we have bullish news around Charles Schwab and crypto, as well as Switzerland. They're looking to make Bitcoin a legal tender. So lots of bullish news to go through. We're going to break it all down. Before we get there, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. If you're listening on a podcast site, please give me a 5-star rating. Quick word from our sponsor, that is TaxBit, which is the leading tax service provider in the crypto industry. TaxBit makes it easy to calculate your crypto gains and losses. It's a platform I've been using for years and will be using this tax season to calculate my taxes. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit the link in the description. If we look at the market here, Bitcoin had a big pullback. Right now, guys, it's below 42,000. It's at $41,464. If we look at the Bitcoin daily chart right now, we see certainly some red candles. I'm hoping there's a bounce tomorrow, but this is not looking too good. On the weekly, though, it's still looking strong. But of course, if Bitcoin continues to go down into tomorrow and then into Saturday and then into Sunday when it closes the week, we could see this green candle turn red. But we'll just have to wait and see and be patient. Now, something that's interesting, blockchain backers model using the fractal from 2018 seems to be deviating, but I think we still have to give it time. He literally just tweeted it out maybe about 10 minutes ago. He said, "What do you think? Is it breaking away? Was the altcoin market telling us a story that Bitcoin wasn't ready? Starting to look like it." So I still think we need to let it, maybe give it a few more days. Let's see what happens tomorrow to see if this thing is faking out here or we are continuing this fractal. But we know it's been very accurate and not every line movements is going to be exact like we saw here in the beginning of the year in January. You can see very different from what was there, but it continued most of the way. So same situation could happen here, or it could be deviating. And then we have to adjust our thesis, right? Remember, none of this is guaranteed. It's certainly speculation, but we want to at least use some level of facts, and technical analysis is part of that. Some people think that this is an exact science. It is not. It is a thesis that we used and we form based on the charts and the facts that we have today. And if things change, we have to adjust to that. So I hope you guys understand what's happening. We just got to let things play out. All right, guys, let's jump into the news here. So shout out to the folks at Fox Business, Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Tourette. Here's a tweet. According to his latest financial disclosures, SEC Chair Gary Gensler is heavily invested in an emerging markets ETF that has a 3% exposure to Russia. Big money managers like BlackRock have held informal talks with the SEC to exempt them from a 2016 law that puts a cap on the proportion of illiquid funds they can hold. This means that Gensler would be voting to change laws relating to his own investments. Big conflict of interest, ? We'll discuss today. Gary, those skeletons in your closets are gonna come out right now. Guys, we've been talking a lot about conflicts of interest at the SEC and how the SEC as a government regulatory body has become rotten at its core. It's like an apple, right? It's just rotten at its core. It looks good outside, but if you take a bite into it, you're in for a nasty surprise. And I think we're seeing that. And it's, I think a lot of the investigations and a lot of the looking into what's happening has started because of the Ripple lawsuit, right? The way Jay Clayton handled it, the connection to the Ethereum free pass. And obviously, it just seems like a lot of collusion. And now we're just seeing all types of conflicts of interest and things that are popping up. And it's like not surprising because where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think there's a lot of smoke here. And I think the fire is going to be seen as the walls get broken down around the SEC. So we'll see where this goes, but very interesting. Now, what's also interesting, my friends, is Gary Gensler went and did a kind of a PR move. He was interviewed by Jon Stewart. So getting some really big mainstream exposure here. Now, what's interesting is the dynamic between his statements from last year to what he said in the interview with Jon Stewart. So shout out to Digital Asset Investor who put this together. In August 3rd of 2021, the first clip, Gary Gensler said, "We haven't lost the case, but March 3rd, today, 2022, take some losses from time to time." Let me play it for you so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. First clip will be from last year.
Over the years, the SEC has brought dozens of cases, many of them during my predecessor's time. I've only been here 3 months. And yet, having brought dozens of cases, we haven't lost a case, willing to litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, take some losses from time to time.
Now, I mean, this is very interesting. And some of you may say, well, hey, you're reading into this too much. But look at all the times Gary has spoken since last year and how aggressive he's been and his stance, right? The SEC knows what it's doing. It's going to go after this. And we see they're going after, lending platforms, crypto exchanges, other altcoins. So this is not just about Ripple. But I think he knows they have a very high potential and probability of losing this lawsuit against Ripple. I think we've been covering it, the facts, what the judge is doing, the statements from different folks, the way it was handled, obviously the conflict of interest situation with Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman. So is he preempting here? Is he doing this PR move and putting out there, I'm a nice guy, the SEC is great, but from time to time we may lose? Very different, a 180 from what he's been saying on CNBC and tweeting and yada, yada, right? So once again, this is not a confirmation that Ripple's going to win. I do believe Ripple's going to win, but I understand narratives. And once you understand narratives and what's put out in the media, he could be preempting a loss in the SEC Ripple lawsuit, guys. Very interesting stuff happening here. Now, Brad Garlinghouse went on Fox Business Today with Liz Claman on her show, and he talked about the Russia Swift situation and that, Ripple and Brad, they support Ukraine. And then he talked about the nonsense of what's been said by Elizabeth Warren that Russia could bypass the sanctions with crypto. And we've talked about this with Ashish Burla putting out that tweet. So he just went ahead and reiterated and hammered home the facts that there's not enough liquidity if Russia even wanted to bypass sanctions with Bitcoin. But what's interesting, towards the end of the interview, he dropped this bombshell, which I think is pretty significant. Let me play the clip here.
Laundering in US dollars. I found it fascinating from reading the documents for all the stuff they said about how bad it was that you did unregistered securities. They never say anything bad about your platform. Why is that? I mean, of course, well, the irony there is, like, we were in the SEC's offices. I met with Chairman Clayton. I was meeting with commissioners. No one ever once said, hey, we think XRP is a security. And they look backwards and say, now we think it's all security. That's a hard argument.
Please come back.
So he said he met with Clayton and all these guys, Bill Hinman and so forth. They never once said XRP is a security. They never once told him, hey, Brad, what you guys are doing is breaking securities laws. Stop selling XRP, stop distributing it in the market, yada, yada. They never said that. And then they come 8 years later after XRP has been distributed like every other crypto and moving with the market just like every other crypto, right? remember, all coins follow Bitcoin's move. We see the capital flows from Bitcoin into Ethereum, then into large, mid-sized caps, and so forth. That's how we've seen it. And the facts will tell you that. A lot of the crypto research firms have verified that. And they didn't tell them anything. So once again, it just shows a lot of shady behavior, a lot of, I don't know if it's political, bribery motivated, whatever it may be. But you're just seeing the SEC not looking very good, my friends. And I think this is a big statement from Brad Garlinghouse, just exposing the SEC. Now, Sandy Young, who works for Ripple, her title here on Twitter says MD of Europe Ripple. She said, great to speak with American banker on Ripple's growing momentum in crypto, our new partnership with Modular, and how we are helping global enterprises prepare for a crypto-enabled world. Catch the article and read more. And the American banker makes you pay to read the article, so I can't read the whole thing. But, the title reads, Inside Ripple's Plans for Mainstream Crypto Payments. So reason why I'm sharing this with you, and once again, it may not be exciting news, but Ripple continues to expand around the globe. And that means XRP adoption. We just covered the news with Tranglo that they're going to be opening up multiple corridors using Ripple ODL, which uses XRP. So despite the headwinds here in the United States, they continue to move forward. Now, heads up, guys, I'll be interviewing Monica Long from Ripple, hopefully next week. And also Joseph Grunfest, former SEC official, who was the one that wrote the letter to Jay Clayton and the folks at the SEC telling him not to file this lawsuit against Ripple. So that's going to be a very insightful interview, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you got the notification bell enabled, you're subscribed, and so forth. All right, let's move ahead. The other thing that's being reported here that the SEC is targeting next is NFT creators and marketplaces. Watch out, NFTers. This is what myself and many other folks have been saying. Gary Gensler and the SEC have to be stopped, and this thing is not only about Ripple, and we need Ripple to win to give the crypto community, the industry, the ammo to fight back. So they're going to go after these NFT marketplaces. Let's see what happens. But if you guys are creators or you're participating in anything, just make sure you have your ducks in a row. And this will be now another target on a long list, right? Exchanges, lending platforms, obviously individual altcoins, and now NFTs and marketplaces. So hopefully Congress can step in to get this right before it gets out of hand. Now, let's move ahead. Here's some very bullish news, my friends. Charles Schwab, $17.5 trillion of asset under management, files for a crypto economy ETF. Guys, all the big players, the traditional financial players, are jumping in one way or the other. Now, I know there's been some talks from the folks there that they would love to do more and offer crypto trading and so forth, but they were waiting for regulatory clarity. But creating an ETF like this will allow them to indirectly invest in the crypto industry. So index tracking fund would invest primarily in the stocks of companies involved in this space. So once again, they can't touch the assets themselves directly, but they can touch the companies, like the mining companies, like companies that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, like MicroStrategy and so forth. So it really sucks that the United States has not provided this clarity. Once again, Congress has to act because these companies are waiting to jump in. There's so much capital sitting on the sidelines. So the filing by Charles Schwab Asset Management Arm follows similar proposals by competitors BlackRock and Fidelity Investments. Charles Schwab CEO Walt Bettinger called cryptocurrencies hard to ignore in January. Of course, guys, they can't ignore it. They may have tried to, and they may try to poo-poo it and ignore it for a long time, but they can't anymore, my friends. This is the new disruptive technology and asset class. They better get on board or they're going to be dead, right? Look at what happened to Blockbuster by not innovating and adopting to the internet. We know how that story ends. If any of these investment firms don't do the same, we know how their story is going to end, right? So very bullish news, my friends. It shows that they're getting creative. They would love to hold the assets directly, but imagine when we get the regulatory clarity, what's going to happen. I've said it many times. It's going to be like breaking down Hoover Dam. That flood of capital is going to come through and just invest, retirement accounts and all kinds of family offices and pensions and so forth, sovereign wealth funds. All these folks are going to jump in. So this is why I have a macro view, a long-term view. I believe we will eventually get there. It's pretty painful to watch this and not see it happen, and it's happening in other parts of the world. But the United States is the largest capital market, and we just got to be patient. I think we're still early in the adoption curve, and certainly an opportunity to accumulate and just have a long-term outlook. All right, let's move ahead. Look at this. SEC filing, $14 billion LoCorr Macro Strategies Fund seeks to add Bitcoin exposure. So not only are we seeing, these major legacy investment firms, we're seeing hedge funds, investment firms who traditionally invested in traditional assets are now jumping into crypto. So everybody's jumping on this train. Once again, they have to, or they will be in trouble. Years ago, it was taboo. It was, you're crazy if you brought this up and you were looking to invest in crypto. Now, if you don't do it, you're going to lose your job. It's amazing how things have changed. It's a paradigm shift taking place. This is bullish news, guys. Breaking: Lugano, Switzerland is set to make Bitcoin legal tender. This is very interesting. It is being reported by Yahoo Finance. So Swiss City of Lugano to make Bitcoin and Tether de facto legal tender. It's interesting that they're making Tether part of this, but it starts with Bitcoin and then they'll move on to other altcoins. So aiming to become Europe's Bitcoin capital, Lugano, Switzerland has formed a partnership with stablecoin issuer Tether to establish Bitcoin Tether and Lugano's own LVGA points token as essentially legal tender in the city. The move goes far beyond the actions of a number of other Swiss localities that for some time have been accepting crypto for tax payments. Somewhat similar to El Salvador, Lugano, in addition to allowing crypto for taxes, is aiming to have all of its businesses seamlessly use crypto for everyday transactions. In El Salvador, only Bitcoin qualifies. Guys, this is, mind-blowing and bullish at the same time. And I hope you see what's happening. There's a global movement towards crypto. And I've often said it on this channel, Bitcoin and the crypto market and asset class is a global asset class. It's borderless. It's on the blockchain. It's 24/7. There's no opening or close bell here, my friends. And not only that, it's going to be the greatest asset class ever. Why? Well, aside from cryptocurrencies and digital assets, you're going to have tokenization on the blockchain. So stocks and traditional assets will be tokenized on the blockchain. And all of those things will fall under the umbrella of the cryptocurrency asset class. So this goes beyond the currencies that are being created. Think about, once again, the tokenization with NFTs and DeFi and so forth. So the future is pretty bright. Once again, you got to have a long-term outlook on the market. I'm not saying you shouldn't take profits and make money in the short term as well. You certainly should. Obviously do what's best for you. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking profits, but I still have my really long-term hold bags. So let's say Bitcoin 10 years from now hits $1 million and Ethereum, I don't know, 100,000, XRP, I don't know, $100. I'm just throwing numbers out, but we just never know with the adoption that's coming, my friends. Things are moving in the right direction, but we got to be patient. Now, look at this. We're just seeing crypto funds pop up everywhere. So forthcoming crypto fund to invest in future of Web3. Blockworks exclusive. The fund will differentiate itself from crypto investment firms by offering broad exposure across the Web3 ecosystem, managing partner Benjamin Cohen said. So I can't even keep up these days. There's just crypto funds popping up everywhere and they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars. We talked about one yesterday. excuse me, not yesterday, the day before, that was raising $1 billion. And I'm trying to get an interview with those folks. The capital is flowing in like milk and honey, guys. So Web3 equities will begin deploying capital in late March. Investments are listed in 5 categories: blockchain, infrastructure, DeFi, DAOs, dApps, and NFTs. Benjamin Cohen made one of the biggest decisions of his life last year, one that he remains very confident in. He left his full-time role at his family's real estate firm to launch a Web3 investment fund, Cohen told Blockworks. He said, "My jump into Web3 is basically on this premise," Cohen, the managing partner and founder, said. "I think it's inevitable that blockchain technology and smart contract technology will become implemented in every single facet of our life, and we're just at the beginning." Well said. Well said, guys. Blockchain is going to be adopted in multiple ways. Crypto, NFTs, DeFi, tokenization, all these things are going to just move a lot of the analog, real life things that we deal with in a digital format. So, for example, if you have a priceless painting, you can essentially tokenize that priceless painting and then have people invest in it and own a share. Same thing with maybe a classic car. You have some really old popular Ferrari that's in good shape. You can tokenize on the blockchain. So all kinds of things are possible here. And I think we will see these things come to fruition as the technology progresses. The same way we saw new use cases and technologies being built on the internet as the internet matured. Same way it would happen here with crypto, blockchain, and all these things. So the future is bright, my friends. Despite headwinds from clowns like Gary Gensler and the SEC, we're moving in the right direction. We're making progress. And I think the US will eventually get it right and Congress will get it right. And we just got to be patient. So obviously you need to think about your strategy and what you want to do. Like I said, you can do some short-term swing trading or short-term trades. And when I say short-term, maybe I'm saying like, I don't know, 3 years, 2 to 3 years, right? You bought it maybe 2 years ago and then you sell in the respective bull market, or you can have the long term as well, where you're holding 3 years plus, right? You got to be willing to do that because that's how early we are. We are in 1996, 97 of the internet, if we were to make that analogy, and it's someone's telling you, hey, invest in Google and Amazon and eBay and so forth. So there will be winners, there will be some losers. So just keep all these things in mind and have the macro level view. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video. If you're listening on a podcast site, please give me a 5-star rating. Once again, don't forget, I got some big interviews coming up for you guys, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all later.